People are craving authenticity. What do I mean by that? Well, we now live in a day and age where everything is just over manufactured bullshit. Look at YouTube right now. Everyone's trying to be the next Mr. Beast. I don't really know if that's a good thing or not. I'm definitely trying to. I almost fell into that trap. You could probably tell from my other two videos that I have. But yeah, everything's just over manufactured bullshit. No one tells you what they really think, how they really feel. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people are just afraid to offend anybody. And I don't really understand that, because a lot of the takes that a lot of people have really aren't that offensive. I've seen some very offensive takes. I'm sure I probably have a few. But like, no one wants to be honest nowadays. Like, even think about like the whole HR voice. That's a voice you put on to specifically be inauthentic. And I feel like maybe society has declined just a little bit because of that. And then you have people who grew up with the internet like I did. And we have some sort of ability to just spot the inauthenticity. I can speak. But we have the ability to spot that just instantly. I mean, think about the videos that you're seeing online nowadays. Most of it's fucking AI, and you show that to someone older than like Gen Z, they're probably not going to be able to tell, just because they didn't grow up with the internet like we did. Like, we have brains that can just immediately look at something and identify, okay, yep, that's bullshit. And I actually see that as a good thing, because sorry. Because we don't fall into the same traps as older generations might have in the past. Now, that's not to say that we're perfect and that we have no issues, because of course we do. Me personally, like, I have more issues than most people that I know. But that's not to say it's all bad. Because we had this ability to just spot out the bullshit, we can just push past it and try and get to the real stuff. Now, that's not always the easiest thing to do, especially when it comes to the job market. I feel like you kind of have to be inauthentic if you want a job nowadays. But like, the thing is, no one wants to tell the truth. Everything's a lie. And even if you have that one person in your life that you talk to, just because you're being nice, you're being inauthentic. You're not being yourself. And I kind of wish we would go back to a time where you could say whatever you think, regardless of how people feel about it. And I think time was better when we could just say how we feel. And even if it did upset somebody, they would just move on with their life instead of fixating on it and doing everything they can to like try and alter your opinion or like whatever. Because it seems like everyone nowadays thinks that their opinion is just fact. And that's not the case, especially with a lot of people's opinions. That's exactly what they are. They're opinions. I don't really understand why people feel the need to try and force things onto people like that. Or you'll have people like trying to, or that only do things because they can post it on Instagram or whatever, TikTok. And you can clearly tell that it's bullshit. No one actually posts their day-to-day on Instagram. They post what gets likes, what gets views, what gets interactions. And like, I don't know about anybody else, but other than maybe talking to a few friends, I've kind of just cut Instagram off completely. I I could just feel like it frying my brain, if that makes any sense. My attention span is a little bit longer now. It's not great still. I'm still working on it, but like it, especially with the invention of AI, like almost nothing on the internet is real anymore, and that's why people are craving authenticity. So when you can be authentically yourself and just not give a shit what anybody thinks, a lot of people resonate with that because they feel like they can't do that. And I think that's kind of sad. We need to get back to a place in society where you can just say what you want, regardless of people's feelings, and then people not lose their shit over it. It's okay to feel a certain way about, something, but there's no reason to try and make it your personality, or let it like really affect your mood because someone said something that pisses you off. Like, I mean, there's been a term recently, the fucking rage baiting. Feel like feel like that's like the peak of internet right now. Everyone does something to piss somebody off, and that's just not good for anybody. Except maybe the person who's only doing it to get views or likes. And I think it's really damaging to a lot of people's like mental health. We have more people depressed or on antidepressants now than we have ever had in the history of humankind. And yeah, you could just say that, well, that's because we have studies now. I don't really think that's the case. I think just quality of life has gone down that much because everyone's just so focused on that next dopamine hit, that next um like that next rush of of just feelings. And I don't really understand it. There's a really good book that you should maybe read called Meditations. And I can't quote it word for word, but it's basically if you can't control that aspect, let it go. It's that simple. Especially when it comes to Instagram and things like that. When you see all these people living their best lives and then you try and compare yourself to it. And I feel like that's a really big thing nowadays. People see some guru or something online and then they're like, yo, why is my life so shitty when this person is just living it up over here? And that's not a healthy way to live. Just just focus on yourself. I know that sounds extremely, you know, selfish or like whatever, but I feel like that's kind of how you have to move nowadays. Everyone is just doing it the wrong way, I think. And that's mainly in part to social media. Social media is a straight up hellhole. I don't really know. But those are just my thoughts on the topic. And yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If not, I don't really care. This is just a place where I can voice my thoughts and opinions without having to worry about like any sort of backlash or anything like that. And yeah. Have a good day.